Hi, my name is Jessica. I am the graduate admissions coordinator here at Cal State San Bernardino. And with me today, I have Maggie Garcia, who oversees the MBA online admissions. Like I mentioned previously, I want to welcome you all in joining our information session to pursue our MBA program. Um, First, I'd like to just start with those of you who might not be familiar with the campus itself. Um, I just want to emphasize that we have a beautiful campus here in inland Southern California. We're known number 12 best bang for the buck in the West, according to the Washington Monthly, and also number 4 in the entire nation for social mobility, according to the U.S. News and World Report. Um, a lot of students who end up pursuing the Master's in Business Administration program at Cal State San Bernardino um, like this program because we offer evening, weekend, online course options that are pretty flexible, even to those students who work full time. The program itself is a great opportunity for students. We offer study abroad opportunities, graduate assistantships, and we also have a dedicated student advisor in our program who would help you select the classes that you need each semester. I know this is a common practice in undergrad programs, but graduate programs don't always have a dedicated student advisor. So we're happy to have that a student advisor to help you select the classes. We're one of the most affordable MBA programs in our region, and just based on the cost, the quality, and convenience of the program, it really is, you'll see, one of the best options, not just in the region, but overall. Um, I did want to definitely touch on the um, distinctions that we have, the accreditations. So our MBA program here at CSU San Bernardino is a AACSB accredited. For those of you that are not familiar with this accreditation, only 5% of the schools in the nation hold this accreditation. So that in itself should really let you know, should speak for itself in terms of the quality program. Like I mentioned, that um, with also the fact that it's so cost effective. Really, we feel it's one of the best quality programs around the area. I forgot to add, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand along the way, or you can also put it in the chat. I do see one question now, and if there's an online option for the MBA program, there is, and we'll get into details on that in just a bit. So here at Cal State San Bernardino, we have three different MBA options. When you graduate, you're still getting an MBA. It's just depending on the modality and the program that you want to pursue. So regardless of which program you want to pursue, the minimum requirements for admission that we'll ask for is that you have a bachelor's degree, of course, from an accredited institution. It could be in any background, any major. You don't have to have a background in business. It's not required for your bachelor's to be in any field. We'll ask you for your transcripts as part of your application, and what we're looking for is a GPA of at least 3.0 cumulative or within the last 60 units or 90 quarter units, 60 semester units or 90 quarter units, whatever's higher. Now we are able to go down to even a 2.5, just depending on your experience. We can go down to a 2.5 GPA. Again, we'd have to look at your application in a holistic manner to determine what your experience looks like if we can go down to a 2.5 GPA. We'll also ask you for one letter of recommendation from a professional recommender. And within the application portal, we'll ask for you to submit your recommender's contact information, or your recommender can also email us the recommendation letter directly as well. We'll ask you for your most recent resume, and we're looking for a very detailed resume in terms of your experience. We want to look at any leadership experience you have, overseeing other staff, overseeing a facility, overseeing important projects. You'll also want to include month and years in which you started each position. We'll also ask you to submit a statement of purpose, which is typically 200 to 300 word statement with the reasons why you're pursuing our MBA program and why you feel it's a good fit. Um, Typically, it's about a page long. I tell students don't overthink this because we're also going to interview you for the application. So the statement of purpose is going to be kind of like an introduction, but then we also schedule an interview. Once you've submitted your application, we'll ask you to schedule an interview. Now, for the different types of MBA programs that we have the traditional MBA and the executives MBA. The traditional MBA, you could meet what we call the business aptitude requirement by having one of the following options. You could either have a 3.2 GPA from an AACSB accredited undergrad business program. So for example, if you graduated from Cal State San Bernardino, which is our undergrad program is AACSB accredited, and you got a 3.2 or higher, that in itself meets the business aptitude requirement. If you completed an accredited graduate level degree, like a master's or a doctorate degree, that in itself meets the business aptitude requirement. If you have at least 2 years of professional experience in a leadership role, that could meet the business aptitude requirement. Now, if you don't have any of the above, we may ask you for GRE or GMAT test scores, which are entrance exams that some graduate schools will ask for. Again, you might be able to waive that, but you would have to meet one of the following that I just mentioned. Now, if you're pursuing the executive MBA option, it is mandatory that you meet the business aptitude requirement with the professional experience. So in order to pursue an executive MBA, you have to have at least 2 years of leadership experience, and we verify that through your resume. I'm going to take a quick hold here and I'm going to look at the questions. Can you define professional experience for the executive track? So yes, so for this executive track, we are looking specifically for leadership experience. So any experience, at least 24 months of experience overseeing other staff. So if you are responsible in overseeing other staff, overseeing a facility, or overseeing important projects. If you're not sure whether you meet that or not, we can review your resume beforehand. So you can just email us before you pay for the application. You can email us your resume. Again, that's why we ask for it to be as detailed as possible so we can make that determination and kind of go from there. I don't know if that answers your question, Alexa. And if we have any other questions. And maybe the second part to that question is the same experience as the regular track. It could be the same experience. So if you have the 2 years of leadership experience, you have the option of pursuing our traditional MBA or our executives MBA, just depending on what you are seeking. I'll talk about the differences. If you oversaw, yeah, it doesn't matter where if it's a boba shop, as long as you have that leadership. So if you had responsibilities overseeing that facility, that's fine. Now, let me get into the details about the different options you would have. So we have, like I mentioned, our traditional MBA and our executives MBA, and then we have a fully online MBA for executives. So the executive MBA and the online MBA for executives is the same curriculum. It's just the modality in which you're pursuing the program. So we have our traditional MBA, which is a program that has a concentration. You can select a concentration when you're pursuing a traditional MBA. So this program is going to be roughly about 36 to 42 units, depending on the concentration that you select. So that's 12 to 14 courses. And this program does require on-campus classes. There are some fully online options, so we like to call it like a hybrid program. But if you pursue the traditional MBA, you would be required to come to campus probably between 1 to 4 times a week, depending on the semester, depending on what particular course you need that semester. We also have the MBA for executives. Again, if you already have that leadership experience and you're looking for something a little shorter because you have a lot of business background, 30 units, 10 courses, and the executives MBA can be completed, like I said, fully online, or we have the on-campus or hybrid modality as well. I'll let Maggie speak about the online for executives option, which, like I said, it's the same curriculum, but Maggie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie Garcia. I'm the student advisor for the online executive track for the MBA. So, like Jessica has mentioned, so our program is 100% online. So, definitely meant for students that don't have the flexibility of coming to campus every day or a few days a week. It is fully asynchronous. So, there are no scheduled lectures that you need to attend via Zoom or on campus. Um, the executive track and the online executive track is the same exact curriculum. Again, just different modalities if you're looking for a hybrid model versus fully online. Few things is we definitely are here to assist you with the application process. So if it is something that you're interested in pursuing, I would be the advisor guiding you throughout the entire process. Jessica is going to talk to you guys about the cost. We are accepting applicants for spring. So if you're interested in making an appointment with me, particularly one of the biggest things is that 2-year leadership requirement. So like Alexa had asked, is there something like overseeing a boba shop? Those are type of questions that we can answer for you just to make sure that you have all of the requirements that you need. So you do need that 2 years of leadership experience approved. So what essentially you'll do is once you decide, okay, I do want to apply to the program, you would submit your resume through MBA, our MBA online email. And I'll be sending you guys on the chat the email you'll send your resume to. Jessica's the one that oversees it. She looks at it, gets it approved. And then once you get that approval, you're eligible to apply through Cal State Apply. And then again, questions on documents, we went over the requirements. But we're here to help you and we're excited to see you guys here, excited about the MBA here. I'll be putting in my contact information in the chat and please feel free to continue putting any questions on the chat. Or if you want a more one-on-one advising session, I'll be putting in my appointment link in there. So thank you guys and thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Maggie. And then I did want to point out that the on-campus or hybrid options, we run on a semester basis, meaning you'd be taking between 1 to 3 courses for the most part. You can decide what your schedule looks like each semester. So on a semester basis, whereas the fully online modality, the classes are scheduled a little different. You take courses that are only between 5 to 6 weeks long each, but more for the most part, you only take one course at a time. So again, it's a little bit different modality. So I wanted to kind of clarify that. I see a question. Do we offer fee waivers for the application? No, Alexa, unfortunately for graduate programs, fee waivers are not available. Now, like I mentioned, if you end up pursuing our traditional MBA, these are the concentration options you could attach to your MBA. So, for example, you'd be getting an MBA with a accounting or an internal auditing concentration. We also have cybersecurity, which is STEM designated, entrepreneurship, finance, HR management, hospitality management, marketing management, global supply chain management, or you can do also interdisciplinary, where if you don't want a specific concentration, you could pick and choose which classes from these concentrations you wanted to select. Yes, thank you. I see a question regarding financial aid and deadline, so I'll definitely be answering those. Any questions about the concentrations? Like I mentioned, this would only be available for the traditional MBAs, which is offered on campus. The closest to that, Ahmed, is global supply chain management. Thank you. I see your questions. At the end of this PowerPoint, I'll provide my contact information and also my scheduling page in case you wanted to schedule a one-on-one appointment with me as well. Okay. I did want to go into cost just because we've discussed this a little bit and we'll talk about financial aid as well. Oops, sorry. Give me one quick second. Alrighty. So here's the cost breakdown for each of our three options. So for our traditional MBA, assuming you're taking around 3 classes per semester, the total cost is going to be roughly between 37 to 43,000 for California residents, and for non-residents or international students, roughly between, let's say, 53 to 62,000. The reason why there's a range is because it depends on your concentration, and also a lot of times the how many classes you're taking per semester, that can vary, but this is again just depending on, this is assuming you're taking around 3 classes per semester. With the executives MBA, it's roughly around 30,000 for California residents, and for non-residents or international students, it's 3 classes per semester at 40, let's say 43,000 roughly. Again, the reason why perhaps there's ranges, and it could vary from this, is because for the on-campus courses, you're paying per semester, not per class. Whereas our fully online program, you're paying per class. So there's a set cost of 33,000 for the entire program. So just so you can kind of get an idea of what to expect. And I know for some students that seems a little, sometimes, seeing these numbers look a little scary, but if you're comparing to other MBA programs, this is actually, like I mentioned, one of the most affordable programs around the region, especially with our accreditation. And if you're comparing these numbers, you'll soon find, other schools just down the street with the same accreditation run sometimes upwards of 90,000, 100,000. And again, this is including the entire program. So I'm going to put a pause here, and then I'm going to try to answer some questions. Can you apply to 2 different graduate programs for the same term at Cal State San Bernardino? You can apply for 2 different programs. Now, if you're accepted to both programs, we don't recommend that you pursue both concurrently, just because it might hold you back with both. If, let's say, you're doing an MBA and also, let's say, an MSW, we typically recommend that you prioritize one over the other. But if you're still deciding between both, you can apply for 2 different programs at the same time. Let's see. And if I'm graduating, sorry. Yes, thank you. Can you start the online class at any time, or is there a set schedule? There is a set schedule for the online classes, but there's a lot of application. It's almost like rolling admissions because there's classes starting every 6 weeks. We'll talk a little bit more about the deadlines and what that looks like. I'm trying to see. Are you not allowed to take more than 3 classes per semester? You can take 3 classes per semester. Most students, especially those that are working full-time, feel that 3 courses is the most they can manage. However, if you want to take up to 4 classes, it is something that you can plan out with your academic advisor. We've seen it happen. It's just like I said, since most of our students work full-time, most of them find that 3 classes is the right amount of classes. But that is one strategy you can use to reduce the cost as well and be here less semesters. We'll talk about financial aid. That's actually in the next slide, Alexis. Ahmad, I thought I had answered it, but maybe you missed it. I said the closest to that is our global supply chain management. So we don't have a logistics and supply chain management. The closest to it is global supply, which, let me go back. Global supply chain management. And I know I kind of skipped some questions, but that's because we'll be addressing them hopefully in the next couple of slides. Okay. So with that said, I think a couple of you have asked about financial aid, so we'll address that. Um, there are different ways to finance your MBA program. So first and foremost, I encourage students to apply for FAFSA, which is the um, application for financial aid. Um, I I will be transparent in that most of the time for graduate students, most students are only offered graduate student loans to help fund for the program up front, and then you'll have to repay those back. If you're pursuing the on-campus classes, you might be considered for this state university grant or the graduate business grant, which is free money that you could potentially get again for the on-campus programs only. Um, Now, the grants are income based. So typically, what they'll be looking at is your income and household size to determine what you qualify for in terms of free money. Otherwise, like I said, most students would qualify for student loans. We also offer graduate assistantships within our program, which you can be considered for to help pay for the tuition costs. Um, and what that would look like is working with here on campus with faculty or staff. Another form of financial aid I also encourage students to look into is privately funded scholarships. Like I said, since free money is very limited at the graduate level, like I mentioned, it's not very common. Most students don't qualify for free money at the graduate level, but there are a lot of scholarships out there that are privately funded that you can apply for. Now, with scholarships, I think the difficult part is that you have to first do research. It's not one application for all. You have to research the scholarships that you qualify for. Some scholarships are specifically for grad students. Some scholarships are, it just depends, but you have to first do your research on what scholarships you qualify for, submit an application for each of the scholarships that you qualify for. And not just that, just because you apply doesn't guarantee that you're going to get it. Um, if there's one application and 50, I'm sorry, one scholarships and 50 applicants and only one student's going to get it. But it might sometimes we've seen it happen where we have scholarships that nobody applies for just because they think they're not going to get it. So, like I mentioned, it's worth looking into scholarships, but just so you know, these are some of the options that are specifically for FAFSA. We have the loans, the sub-grant, and the graduate business grant. I'll take a pause here just to see if you have any questions or if I can clarify any of these items. Don't see any questions. Okay. So I don't see any questions, so I'll go on to the next slide, which just talks about, again, what the MBA program is going to look like if you come in. We have different events and opportunities for you to become engaged in the program. We'll have a mandatory new student orientation at the beginning of the semester for all our students so that you know what the policies, procedures are for all the programs. We have an MBA designated academic advisor. His name is DeLauren West, and he can help you each semester in choosing the correct courses for your concentration or your program so that you know exactly which courses you're taking and you're needing to graduate. We have the Passport Leadership Program, which is a program that encourages for you to attend different events throughout the year, both on campus or online, to just become more involved in the program. We have designated student ambassadors. So each academic year, we select a handful of students to represent the MBA program. So, for example, if you're looking to speak to a student ambassador that is currently in the program and can tell you or give you an insight of what it is to be a student in our MBA program, we can connect you with them. You can just let me know you're interested in connecting with an MBA student ambassador, and we'll make that connection. And we also have Coyote Network, which is like our internal LinkedIn in a sense where we connect alumni and current students in our program to network and search for different professional opportunities. And additional resources so that you're successful. We have at the university, we have our services to students with disabilities. We have a recreation and wellness center, so a gym that you can utilize. We have counseling services, our Veteran Success Center in case you have any military benefits to utilize, our career center that will host different career fairs, internship fairs, resume, cover letter building opportunities. We have an on-campus graduate success center, so it's a center on campus that is designated specifically for graduate students. We have a computer lab, a kitchenette, again, just a space for specifically grad students to study. We'll have different sporting events. We have a study abroad course that you could use as part towards your degree. And we have the Overshaw Den, which is a humanitarian center here on campus that provides students who are struggling with basic needs like housing, food, clothing. So it's a great way for us to help our students again be successful. I see. Okay, great. Thank you, Alexa. I see that someone's already interested in being a student ambassador. That opportunity becomes available after your first semester once you already have more insight on the program and can speak to what the program looks like. So we accept applications, like I said, at least once a year or once a semester. But thank you for your interest. If you haven't already, we encourage for you to visit our website. So that's just csusb.edu/MBA. Not just if you're thinking of applying. If you are, it's a great place to review also the MBA admissions requirements I discussed, the tuition costs, deadlines, but also once you become a student, this is where you'll see information on different forms, course information about the program itself, the sheets that you can use to track your degree, different events that we'll have throughout the year. So again, if you haven't already visited, do visit when you can. And for all of you that were asking about the application deadlines. So at this moment, we are still accepting applications for spring 2025 for students who are interested in starting in January 2025. Now, the deadline closes January 6th. However, we're giving priority admissions to students who apply by December 1st. Now, if you are an international student, unfortunately, the deadline already passed because if you have international documents, it takes us a little bit longer to evaluate those. Foreign transcripts take a little bit longer to translate to the GPA format. So because of that, like I said, our deadline just closed for November 1st, but application for fall 2025 is already open now, and it'll close July 1st, 2025. And that would be to start August 2025. For international students, again, since it takes us a little longer, deadline for fall 2025 is June 1st. Okay. And I did want to add, our fully online MBA program will also accept students for session 2, which is if students are I can't start in January, but don't want to wait until August. You can also start March. Do you know the deadline for session 2, Maggie?
So for spring 2025 session 2, applications are open. The deadline is February 27th, 2025. The start date would be March 17th.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll take a quick pause. Any questions about the deadlines? And like I mentioned, both are currently open through Cal State Apply. So you can just search on Google CSU Apply or Cal State Apply. And if you don't already have a login, you would just create a login to complete the program. Now, if you need assistance with the actual application, if you need help navigating or filling it out it's usually pretty self-explanatory, but if you have questions or not just the application, the program in general, Maggie and I are here to help you. So if you scan the QR code, this will take you directly to my scheduling page, but I believe Maggie also provided her contact information in case you have specific questions about the MBA online, and she provided her scheduling page as well. Um, so I'll give you guys a minute to scan this in case you wanted to schedule an appointment with me. And at this point, I'll open it up for questions. Any questions that I missed? Um, okay, so I have a question about the student ambassadors as prospective students. Do we get to talk? Do we get to? Yes, you can speak with a current student ambassador to get an insight on the program through them. So please email me directly. I'm actually going to include my email address. Please email me directly and ask if I can connect you with one of our student ambassadors, and I'll connect you with them. Actually, while we do that, let me, I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna stop sharing, because I see, are you able to switch back and forth between online? Unfortunately, no, you can't switch back and forth, and the reason is because we have different modalities. So like I mentioned, the fully online program is 6 weeks long, so there's 2 sessions each semester, and the on-campus is um, at the on the semester basis. So you can't go back and forth. If you pursue the executive MBA on campus, there's going to be a lot of fully online options, but we can't guarantee there's always going to be a fully online for the entire semester. I see a question from Elizabeth. Is there assistance in completing the personal essay? I can help you with that. What I would recommend first is for you to build a rough draft. I usually tell students, again, don't overthink it. We're looking at grammar and the reason why you're pursuing your MBA. That's really what we're looking at. There's no wrong answers, really. In terms of what you actually say in the essay. We want to get to know you as a person and why you're interested in our program and at your grammar. So if you need assistance, what we can do is before you submit it, you can send us your rough draft and we can make any recommendations before submitting it. And you could send that directly to me as well. Any other questions? Perfect. I am putting in the chat, Alexa, this is the page where we put up our student ambassadors at the moment. You can actually read their profiles and there's a link to contact them directly. Or if you're not able to do so, let me know. And I can connect you with someone directly. I don't see any other questions. I did want to let you know we are currently on these social media platforms. So feel free to add us on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We'll be posting the recording of today's information session on our YouTube page. And we'll also, we continue to post events information. So even after you're admitted into our program, we'll keep you updated if you're following our social media platforms. But again, I wanted to thank you all for joining me today. Hopefully you got a lot of information, and if not, you'll reach out to us and we'll help you. Thank you everyone for joining, and I wish you a happy Tuesday and go vote. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.